Hello and welcome back to my channel. Now we are running a regression model in Eviews, but before that I would just discuss something about our data set. So first we will run a single variable regression model. It would look like yi is equal to alpha plus beta xi plus error term. So here yi is your dependent variable and xi is your independent variable, whereas alpha is our intercept and beta is our slope. Now here in this data set, price would be our dependent variable and horsepower will be our independent variable. In simple terms, when you are going to buy a car, the small engine would have less horsepower and the large size engine would have more horsepower. The same thing, the small engine would have a less price, whereas a large size engine would be costly. The basic example is you compare the car on the basis of horsepower. A nano car would have very less horsepower, whereas if you just go with a Land Cruiser or Toyota Fortuner, it would have more horsepower and it's more costlier than a nano. So same thing applies here, but yes, we will statistically check this. I hope you have downloaded my data set of car price through the barcode scanner. Now I will teach you how to load this data in our Eviews. So just give right click, open with Eviews 10. Hope you have downloaded Eviews. If not, just check my previous video and I have given a clear-cut instruction how to download a student version Eviews. So a pop-up will open here. You just click next and finish. So one pop-up would be there. You want to link series with external source or not. So here the Eviews is asking that your data, when you are working with it, would be attached with the Excel file, original file. If you give yes, and if you change something here, would lead to change in previous video also. So I always prefer to give no. So we can run regression by two ways. The first is you can run regression by giving the command, or here you have quick menu, and in quick menu you have estimate equation. We will see both one by one, but first see our data set. So here many of the variables are there, but I am interested to see price and horsepower. So first I am opening this both as a group. So you can see a spreadsheet is opened here. Here horsepower is there and here price is there. So before running any regression model, as I said in my previous video, you should run a correlation, and before running correlation also you should run a scatter plot. So first view, you can see graph option, and here you have a scatter plot option. Just click OK. See here, you can see here the positive correlation among them. So yes, you can fit a regression line, but before also that, you need to check whether both the series are correlated or not. So to check the correlation, you need to go to view, again go to covariance analysis. Can you see here a correlation tab? Just activate that tab and deactivate covariance tab. Just click OK. Here you can see here strong positive correlation among them, 0.808, that means 0.81%. So there is a strong positive correlation between these both series. So it is giving us clear-cut symptoms that you can go for a regression line. Now here I am applying a regression model. So for that reason I am just closing this work file. Here I will first work with a command. So obviously here you have to write ls. Ls means least square. Ls is a command to run a regression model. First always remember you have to write dependent variable and then you have to write constant and independent variable. So here the dependent variable is price. Write C for constant and write here horsepower. When you are completing your command, just give the enter. Your regression would be here. More important, the other way to run the regression is more easy. I will just show first that and then I will explain the equation. So go to quick estimate equation, the same procedure. Price. So you can see here it would help us. Price C price C horsepower. You can find it here also. Okay, price C horsepower. When you just give OK, the same regression model would come in front of you. Now remember, most important thing. In regression, you have to first see R square. The value of R square is 0.65. That means that 60% or more than 60% of your variance are explained. In simple terms, I would say that 65% of change in Y is due to change in X. Very simple. Moving towards more important point, you have to see the variable is significantly contributing or not. So for that reason, you have applied t-test. Software has already applied. But yes, you have to see here the p-value of it. The p-value of the horsepower or coefficient should be less than 0.5 to make the variable significant. So here the p-value is less than 0.05. So you can state that yes, your horsepower is contributing to the model. In simple terms, horsepower is affecting the price. Moving towards F statistic. F statistic would state that whether overall model, if there are more than two variables would be there, whether all of them are making a joint effect on Y or not. But yes, in this case, if one variable is also there, yes, it is impacting it. So yes, it is giving me a significant model. So three things you need to remember. What are the three things? First, R square. R square is above 60. Yes, it's good model. Second, horsepower. Yes, horsepower is significant because the p-value of t statistic is less than 0.05. If it would be more than 0.05, this model or maybe this variable is not significant. Not only that, your F statistic or maybe your one-way ANOVA is also giving the same thing, your model is fit. Hello friends, now I will show how to report this regression model. But before that, this equation, I will show you the representation of it. So just click on view, just click on representation. You can see here, the equation comes in our form, the love story form. Price is equal to minus 3721.76 plus 163.26 into horsepower. So this is my alpha, this is my beta, this is my X variable and this is my Y variable. So now I will teach you how to report this whole regression model. So yes, the first thing, as I have discussed here, the R square, we have to describe the R square. Our R square is 0.65. In simple terms, as I said, 65% of the variable of Y is changed due to change in X. That is my explained variance. Moving towards the second important part, here I am testing the individual variable, that is horsepower. So here I am framing a hypothesis that horsepower is not significant and horsepower becomes significant. In my simple terms, horsepower is affecting price or maybe it's not affecting the price. So this way you can make your hypothesis and you see the p-value. So when I just go to estimate output, here you can see the p-value is less than 0.05. That means you are rejecting your null hypothesis and you state that horsepower is significant. It is contributing to Y. Now we are moving towards the third important test, that is F test. In simple terms, it is checking a model fit. So here null hypothesis is all variables jointly does not influence y, whereas alternate states that all variables jointly influence y. You can also frame it in a different way, that model is not fit and model is fit. So here also the p-value of f statistic is less than 0.05. So I can state that I reject the null hypothesis and I go with alternate hypothesis that states that all variables jointly influence y.